Have you ever wondered what would happen if, instead of constantly seeking someone's approval or attention, you simply stopped? What if, by stepping back, you allowed the space for others to confront what your presence truly meant? The Stoics teach us that our value is not defined by how often we are seen or heard, but by the strength of our character and the calmness of our inner state. Now imagine this. You've been the constant, the one who reaches out, who initiates, who fills the silence. But suddenly you decide to withdraw, not out of spite or manipulation, but to realign your focus inward, to let your silence speak where words no longer suffice. What you might not realize is that this simple act of stepping back can shift the entire dynamic of a relationship. It forces others to reckon with the absence of something or someone they once took for granted. In the words of Epictetus, it is not events that disturb men, but their judgments concerning them. When you remove yourself from the constant pursuit of others, you change the way they perceive you. What was once familiar now becomes distant, and in that distance, your value begins to rise. Not because you have vanished, but because in your absence, they finally see what they were blind to before. This isn't about playing games. It's about recognizing your own worth and allowing that worth to stand on its own. Like the sun setting beneath the horizon, your disappearance leaves behind a quiet, a void, one that whispers louder than any words could. And it is in this silence that your presence is most deeply felt. Today we are not merely talking about pulling back. We are talking about reclaiming your power with a grace and dignity that commands respect. By focusing on yourself and cultivating inner strength, you elevate yourself to a place where your absence becomes undeniable, a force that reshapes the way they view you. So my friends, the question remains, what do they feel when you stop looking for them? How do they confront the void left behind when you no longer fill it with your attention? Let us explore the Stoic strategy of stepping back, not as an act of manipulation, but as a path toward personal growth, clarity, and ultimately respect. Let your silence be your strength. Let your absence be your voice. The power of stepping back. Why does silence stir the heart more deeply than words? In stepping back, you are not abandoning anyone. You are reclaiming your strength. When you stop seeking validation and withdraw your attention, you allow others to confront the absence of what they took for granted. Imagine being the sun in their world, providing warmth and light. When the sun sets, the sudden chill reminds them of its importance. Similarly, your absence creates space for them to reflect on your value, which they may have overlooked when you were always present. This is not manipulation. It is an act of self-respect. By stepping back, you shift the relationship's dynamic. You no longer give endlessly, you stand firm in your worth, allowing others to feel the weight of your absence. As Seneca wisely said, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." Constant availability diminishes your value, but stepping away amplifies it. Stepping back is a declaration of your inner strength. You are not retreating, you are creating space for them to realize what they've lost. In your silence, your presence becomes more powerful than ever. The real power lies in what you allow them to discover on their own. Emotional reactions people experience when you stop looking for them. When you stop reaching out, something profound begins to unfold within those who once relied on your presence. As Stoics, we understand that the absence of something valuable can be far more revealing than its constant presence. The emotional landscape they once took for granted shifts dramatically, and they must confront their own feelings. Let us examine the key emotions that arise when you withdraw. Number 1, the shock of silence. The first wave they feel is shock. Your absence disrupts the rhythm of their daily life, like a sudden silence after constant noise. You were the one who always initiated, always reached out, always present. But now, the stillness of your absence hangs in the air. They are caught off guard, left to wonder why the comforting sound of your voice is no longer there. In this shock, they must face an unsettling truth. You were a constant, but they never fully realized how much they depended on you. Number 2, the rise of curiosity. Soon, the shock gives way to curiosity. Where have you gone? What has changed? They may scroll through their messages, checking for the texts that are no longer there, or find themselves wondering what you are doing now that you've stepped back. Curiosity stirs as they realize that they don't know as much about your world as they once assumed. This shift in perspective makes them want to learn more about you. Suddenly, you are not so predictable, and this mystery draws them in. Number 3, the realization of your value. With time, they begin to feel a deeper absence, a void where your presence used to be. The small things you did, the support, the laughter, the comfort, are now missing, and they start to recognize that your contribution to their life was far greater than they acknowledged. Like a missing piece in a puzzle, your absence makes their life feel incomplete. This is the moment when they begin to realize that what you provided was not merely convenience, but something essential to their happiness. Number 4, the void of your presence. As days turn into weeks, the emotional gap grows wider. It's not just that they miss your texts or conversations, it's that something deeper is missing. Your presence brought warmth and connection, a subtle but powerful influence that made their world brighter. Now, without it, they feel a profound emptiness, a void that cannot be easily filled. This void becomes a constant reminder of what they have lost. Number 5, the growth of longing. Longing soon follows. The memories of your shared moments begin to surface. Inside jokes, familiar places, comforting words, and with each one, the desire to reconnect grows stronger. It's not just that they miss someone, they miss you specifically. This longing is not fleeting, it deepens over time as they come to terms with how much your presence truly meant. Number 6, the sting of regret. Then comes regret, sharp and undeniable. They start to replay moments when they could have done more, could have been more attentive, or could have appreciated you better. Regret is painful, for it forces them to confront their past actions or inactions. They realize they took you for granted, and the weight of this regret can lead them to wish they had treated you differently before it was too late. Number 7, the intrigue of mystery. As your absence stretches on, you become an enigma, a person they thought they knew, but now see in a new light. No longer having access to your thoughts, your daily life, or your feelings, they are drawn to the mystery of who you've become. Like a closed book they once had access to, they now feel a deep desire to reopen that connection and rediscover you. The unpredictability of your actions makes them realize that they never truly understood you fully, and this intrigue captivates them. In stepping back, you invite them into a silent dialogue, one where your absence speaks louder than your presence ever could. These emotional reactions, shock, curiosity, longing, and regret, are the natural consequence of your decision to withdraw. By allowing them to feel the weight of your absence, you lead them to a deeper understanding of who you are and what they have lost. Self-transformation and its magnetic effect. When you step back and allow silence to fill the space where your presence once dominated, you create the opportunity for something far greater, your own transformation. This is the heart of Stoic wisdom. True power comes not from controlling others, but from mastering oneself. As you withdraw, something remarkable happens. You are no longer bound by the need for external validation, and in this newfound freedom, you begin to grow in ways that are undeniable and deeply magnetic. Imagine the strength that emerges when you no longer seek approval or chase after others. Your attention, once scattered outward, now focuses inward toward your own growth, your own journey. This shift from external dependence to internal self-reliance is what the Stoics call eudaimonia, the state of flourishing. In this state, you become unshakable, anchored in your values and in the knowledge that your worth is not defined by others, but by your character. This transformation is not loud or boastful. It is quiet, steady, and profound. As you focus on your passions, your self-discipline, and your inner peace, you project an aura of resilience that others cannot ignore. Just as iron naturally moves toward a magnet, people are drawn to those who stand confidently in their independence. Why? Because self-sufficiency is rare, and rare things are valuable. Consider this: you are no longer the person who needs constant attention or approval. You have become someone who is whole on their own. The very fact that you do not rely on their recognition makes you more compelling. There is an inherent attractiveness in someone who thrives in their own company, who pursues their own goals with quiet determination. The world takes notice of such strength. This is not about pretending to be indifferent. It is about truly becoming someone who finds contentment within, whether others are present or not. As Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And now you are mastering yourself, not through force or manipulation, but through discipline and focus. In doing so, you transform not only your inner world, but the way others see you. Your self-transformation becomes a reflection of your value, and in your absence, this value shines even brighter. They no longer see you as someone waiting in the wings. They see you as someone who stands alone, firm and unwavering. This independence draws them back, not because you need them, but because they realize they need you. In your silence, you have spoken volumes. By becoming more than you were, you have made your absence impossible to ignore. The stronger, more self-assured version of yourself is a beacon, and those who once took your presence for granted now find themselves drawn to your newfound strength. Your transformation has become a silent force, a reminder that the power to shape your life has always been yours. And in this, you have become truly magnetic. For nothing is more attractive than a person who is complete in themselves. The desire for reconnection. As time passes and your absence settles like a quiet storm, something begins to stir in the hearts of those you've withdrawn from. A deep and undeniable desire for reconnection. This desire does not arise from mere loneliness or a fleeting sense of loss, but from something far more powerful: the recognition of your irreplaceable value. It is only in your silence, in your distance, that they begin to grasp the depth of what they had and what they've let slip away. In Stoic terms, this realization is akin to seeing a truth that was always present, but hidden beneath layers of complacency. When you were always available, they could not see you fully. Your presence was a constant, like the air they breathed, essential, yet unnoticed. But now, in the space you've created, they are forced to confront the void, and in that void, they discover the profound significance of your presence. The absence of what is valuable always reveals its true worth. And so, the desire for reconnection grows. It starts small, perhaps as a thought that lingers in the quiet moments of their day. But soon, it becomes undeniable. They remember your laughter, your insight, the comfort of knowing you were there. They feel the weight of their misjudgment, the regret of having taken you for granted. This longing is not just to fill a void, it is the yearning for something they now understand was unique and perhaps irreplaceable. But here's the Stoic truth. They are not drawn back to the person you were, but to the person you've become. In your absence, you have grown. You are no longer the one seeking their attention or approval. You have transformed, becoming stronger, more resilient, more self-sufficient. This is the essence of your magnetism. They are not seeking the past, but the renewed version of you that stands confidently in your own worth. The desire to reconnect is born from this recognition. They see that you have risen, that you have flourished in your own space, and now they long to be part of that strength. But the Stoic mind knows that this reconnection must not be a return to old patterns. If they seek you out, it must be from a place of respect, of genuine appreciation, not of neediness or fear of loneliness. As F. Scott Fitzgerald once wrote, "There are all kinds of love in this world, but never the same love twice. They will not find the same person they once knew, for you have evolved. And the connection they seek will be new as well, founded on stronger, more meaningful ground. If they wish to reconnect, it will be with the understanding that they are now drawn to someone who no longer depends on them but thrives without them." This is where the true power of Stoicism lies, in realizing that you are complete on your own, and that any reconnection is not about filling a gap in your life, but about meeting others from a place of strength and equality. Should they seek you out again, it will be because they have seen the transformation in you, and they desire to be part of the new, unshakable you. And so we arrive at the final truth. In stepping back, you do not lose your place, you solidify it. By embracing your own worth, by allowing your silence to speak louder than words, you transform the way others see you, and more importantly, how you see yourself. This is the core of Stoic wisdom. True strength lies not in the approval or attention of others, but in mastering the self. What you may have feared being forgotten, overlooked, or diminished turns out to be an illusion. In reality, your absence amplifies your presence. It forces others to recognize what they could not see when you were always there. And if they do not feel the weight of your absence, then you have gained something even more valuable: clarity. You have learned where you truly stand, and that knowledge frees you to move forward without hesitation or regret. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing what a good person should be one. Your journey is not about making others miss you, it is about making yourself whole, regardless of their recognition. The Stoic path teaches us that the approval of others is fleeting, but the strength of our inner character endures. Now, as you step back, you give others the space to reflect, to feel the shock of your silence, the weight of your absence, and if they are wise, to grow in their appreciation of your value. But know this, their reaction is not your concern. Your focus remains on your own growth, your own transformation. Let them feel what they will, but never let their feelings dictate your worth. In the end, the silence you leave behind speaks for you. It is not a cry for attention, but a quiet declaration of your strength. You are not stepping away in weakness, but in power. For to master the art of absence is to master the art of self. Remember this, my friends. The greatest power is not in how others respond to your withdrawal, but in how you rise in your own solitude. Let that be your guiding truth, and you will find that those who once overlooked you will feel your absence more profoundly than they ever imagined. You are not disappearing, you are becoming more. And in that becoming, you will find that those who are meant to recognize your worth will do so, not because you sought their approval, but because you stood strong in your own. Let your silence be your strength, and your absence be your power. If you found wisdom and strength in these Stoic insights, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Ultimate Stoicism. Join our community of thoughtful individuals committed to mastering inner peace, resilience, and self-discipline through ancient Stoic philosophy. Your support helps us continue sharing powerful content that guides you toward a life of clarity and strength. Stay with us on this journey, like, subscribe, and let Stoicism be your compass.